Now it's time for America's Talking, with headlines from across the country that you can find at thecentersquare.com. Colorado's Democratic-controlled General Assembly poised to send several gun control bills to Governor Jared Polis roughly 2 months into the legislative session. The Center Square contributor Derek Drapen reports the House is expected to hear on third reading this week Senate Bill 26046, which would require all purchases of gun barrels to be made in person at a firearm dealer. Now, last week, House lawmakers approved legislation to expand that state's red flag law and require strict permitting requirements and security measures at gun stores. Another bill that would ban using 3D printers to make firearms or components and criminalize possession of digital instructions is scheduled for a second reading on the Senate floor Tuesday. I've already seen questions about how you can go about the First Amendment protections of blueprints for 3D printer schematics. We'll see how that plays out in Colorado. Democrats there arguing the bills are aimed at reducing gun violence. Republicans arguing that it chips away at Second Amendment rights to keep and bear arms that the Second Amendment says shall not be infringed. Meanwhile, the bill would also require firearm dealers to keep sale records of barrels for at least 5 years, and that bill was scheduled for third reading Monday. In other news, at thecentersquare.com, you can find by getting it in your inbox. Go to thecentersquare.com and sign up for that newsletter daily. You'll get those headlines. Meanwhile, a group of Washington sheriffs urging Governor Bob Ferguson to veto sections of Senate Bill 5974, and they're still waiting to find out if their concerns will be addressed when the bill is signed into law. The Center Square Associate Editor Carlene Johnson reporting the highly contentious bill would require county sheriffs and police chiefs to meet new eligibility requirements, which include having at least 5 years of full-time law enforcement experience and not having done or said anything that would get state certification revoked by the Criminal Justice Training Commission in Washington. That commission could revoke certification for misconduct, leading to elected sheriffs being removed from office. Mason County Sheriff Ryan Sperling said his constituents still asking a lot of questions about the bill.
I hear politicians say things that aren't necessarily true all the time, yet they're not necessarily held accountable, but sheriffs are in a different category according to a lot of people. So that's one of those things that they're wrestling through. Should sheriffs be political? Should we be able to say, or should it be controlled? And this bill effectively will mute sheriffs because of the threat of being decertified and removed. If my constituents are pushing me to stand up against something that Olympia is doing, I'm going to speak out, or depending on the level or the degree, we're going to say something, and this is going to potentially stifle that and again control the First Amendment rights.
The letter Washington sheriffs sent to the governor, signed by Sheriff Sperling of Mason County, Sheriff Clay Myers of Kittis County, Sheriff Mark Sider of Walla Walla County, and Sheriff Brad Mankey of Stevens County. Federal law enforcement officers, they've joined Transportation Security Administration workers at O'Hare International Airport in Chicago. The Center Square's Jim Talamonte reports ICE agents were seen at O'Hare and several other airports around the country. More than 400 TSA employees have left the department, and thousands of others are missing work, while a lapse in federal funding leaves them without paychecks. American Federation of Government Employees Local 777 told the Center Square that TSA workers are concerned. They said at the end of the day, they've been loyal to aviation and protecting the flying public, and all they're requesting is to be paid, not to be replaced. When they see individuals assisting them, the union said it gives union members the thoughts that they're trying to get replaced instead of trying to keep them on board. The union said their members would have another issue in April when rent and mortgage payments are due for a second month, since they were last paid February 13th. President Donald Trump was asked Monday if he would consider giving $10,000 bonuses to TSA workers who do show up on the job, even during a partial government shutdown, as he did last year. He said it could happen. He also went on to blame Democrats for the lapse in funding for TSA workers. Still no resolution there on whether or not you're going to see a bill pass Congress to fund DHS. Meanwhile, the federal government is the one who should control hikes in gas prices, according to Democratic attorneys general from across the country who blame the Trump administration and the U.S.-Israeli conflict with Iran on surging gas prices. The Center Square regional editor Dave Mason reports Attorneys General Rob Bonta of California and Kwame Raoul of Illinois made the comments late Monday morning when the Center Square asked them what their states could do to limit the jump in prices. They said that it is the Trump administration who initiated the conflict with Iran. Attorney General Kwame Raoul called the conflict, which he noted was started without congressional approval, another federal action that makes life less affordable. Californians, who consistently experience the nation's highest gas prices for several years, even outside of international conflicts, saw an average of $5.79 at the pump Monday. According to AAA, Illinois' average price for a gallon of gas, $4.17. For both states, that's an increase over $1 a gallon since 1 month ago. Both prices are above the national average of $3.96 a gallon, which is an increase of slightly less than $1 a month. Illinois and California also having the state's highest gas taxes. The White House telling the Center Square that stressed gas hikes are temporary. The president has said temporary pain for long-term gain. And that's America's Talking, with headlines from across the country that you can find now at thecentersquare.com.